Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Thursday. Just waiting on Jeff to show up.
Switch. Let's see.
We're telling followers that we're live.
Nice. There we are. Hey, Allie joined.
Cool.
There we are.
All right. Go live with Jeff.
And I'll try to keep my connection going this time.
Yeah, that was a big problem last time.
Yeah. Turn on the light so that it can see a bit better. How's everybody doing today?
There we go, guys. Jeff, I'm hearing an echo.
Oh, yeah, I got to do the headphones.
Yeah, do the headphone thing.
There we go.
All right. Cool.
A little bit better?
Much better.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
How's everybody doing today? Hello, Allie. Glad to see you're not at work. So, Dave, we got a few things to talk about today.
We do. We've got. I mean, there's been a lot going on. We just did an Instagram live last week before.
Yeah, I think so.
And here we are again.
Right.
Having another Taproom. Cheers,
right.
buddy.
Cheers. Clean.
Brooklyn Oktoberfest.
I have a DDH Pulp Daddy from Greater Good in Worcester.
Nice.
So I think first up we had IVEX last weekend, which was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of technical issues.
Sure.
I feel like it was. I think it went well.
Yeah.
Pretty happy with it.
I think so. And like you said, the first day, I think everybody just logging on at once just kind of overloaded the system.
Yeah.
And then same thing kind of happened after the lunch break. But I wonder, I feel like everybody is really hopeful that maybe 2021, we go back to normal, right? With going to conferences and whatever else. I wonder if there's a way to have like a track or a smaller portion of the program be virtual,
or have a hybrid.
At a discounted rate for people that can't go through the expense of travel and hotel and everything else, because the technology, they've used the technology now that you can't unlearn that. And I feel like, to some degree, even if it's just one track, a technician track, something, I just think that would be huge for that to be available, and not just for IVEX, but for conferences at large.
All of them. Yeah. And with the technical issues, I was in that first lecture, that first 7:45
a.m. the breakfast lecture.
That maybe 20 minutes or so into it, it just cut out and it was done. And everyone was like, what's happening here?
Right.
And for me, working on the podcast and dealing with IT stuff, I said, you know what? Let them work through it. It's going to work out. And then when they came back on, when people were able to get back in, there was a couple of F-bombs that got dropped, and everyone was like, IT guy, we can hear you. We hear all those.
Yeah.
And
hot mic.
He was, hot mic. And obviously he was very upset. And and for me as a, I don't want to say I'm an IT guy, but as someone that works on the technical side of things like this, I was very sympathetic. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
You're doing the best you can.
Right.
Get through it. It's going to work out fine. And like you said, some of those things may have just been a volume issue.
Yeah. I think I heard over 5,000 attend, or at least registered, not necessarily that's what saying was on at one time, but that over 5,000 people registered. I can't really confirm that, but I did hear that somewhere. Which is just amazing.
I'm mistaken. I don't know if I'm mistaken or not. Is that more or less than is normally at IVEX?
Usually it's around 4,000, give or take.
Okay.
I think it kind of depends on hotel space and conference room space, but they're usually right around $4,000.
There was one year, was it the New Orleans one that you couldn't register because it was full?
It was full. Yeah.
And
I flew down for 2 days and just hung out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't get enough, even if you're not getting CE.
Yeah.
And some of that stuff was, I get it. I get the IT stuff, and people were frustrated and upset, but you know what? You try doing it. You try doing
for sure.
5,000 people on a website at one time, I don't know if they didn't anticipate that many people being on at one time, and maybe that was a big problem, but
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, the next day everything seemed to be much better.
For sure. For sure.
I
Uh,
found far less problems the next day.
yeah, I agree. And, I think the only thing that I was, what I'll say, frustrated by, and honestly, it wasn't even something we were expecting. They had that chat feature.
Yeah, yeah,
And you and I kind of started a vet tech cafe group chat with, people we know really well, and it was hard to find certain people. Certain people were searchable and certain people weren't.
yeah,
So there were people we could add to the group and people that we couldn't, that we were just, though we could chat with them individually somehow, but like that was a little bit clunky and weird. But again, we weren't even really expecting that. That was
no,
just
not
kind
at
of a
all.
nice, oh, we can do this too. So yeah, it was, but all in all, I thought, I thought it went well. And then Monday was super easy too. Again, that might have been people were back to work and maybe less people, less traffic. But I still thought the CE was incredible
Oh
quality.
yeah, it was.
Um,
And I will
eh,
say, as a teacher, and I'll get your take on it for as a presenter, but as a student, like the virtual learning as a student is so much easier. Oh my god.
yeah,
And the virtual learning as a teacher is not easy. It's not easy to do.
right. And
I've
I'll say I did. The two MDRs were pre-recorded, and those are strictly on demand. The one
right.
lecture that I did that was actually, in the general session lectures, I pre-recorded, so I didn't do a live version of my talk. So it was a little bit weird just kind of sitting in my chair watching a
Watching yourself
recording
talk.
of my lecture. But then that enabled me to be in the live chat or the
Oh
live
yeah.
Q&A and kind of answer some questions in real time as they were coming in. Because honestly, if I had just done, which I still did the question and answer at the end, but I did get to a few of them during this session because at least at one point there were 450 people in that lecture, and
Yeah.
so trying to get your question answered at the end would have been you know difficult at best. So
Yeah.
but I thought even that worked really well. So yeah, I was really happy with the overall format, and I hope to some degree, whether it's a particular track or I don't know, maybe you could do like for $50, pick any 6 lectures or 10 lectures or
Yeah.
whatever it is. I hope that they somehow,
Have
you
a
know,
virtual option.
yeah, exactly, because let's be real, if you're not speaking, it's a huge expense to go to any major conference,
Yeah,
between
it really
travel and
is.
airfare and or hotel and registration alone. I mean, when was the last? I've been going to IVEX since 2006. I don't think I've ever seen it under $100, and it was
Yeah.
$40 for technicians
$40 for the
this
whole
year.
thing. Yeah.
So that was just absolutely incredible. So,
Your
and
feed is a little glitchy today.
oh, is it? I'm
Yep.
trying to make sure my screen stays going this time and not goes to sleep like it did last time. Um, do you have any cool standout lectures that you liked?
I really like the one that I was really interested in was Noah's use of an ultrasound
Hmm.
for arterial catheterization and central line
Yeah.
catheterization, where just seeing the images, the one thing that stood out to me was how close the carotid artery is next to that jugular vein, and the number of times that I've been placing central lines, not realizing that I was millimeters away from hitting a carotid
Yeah.
artery
Yeah.
was terrifying, and also makes me want to use an ultrasound for every single time I do it now.
For sure. For sure. Oh, I think I maybe know why. I was just really weirdly getting a FaceTime call
Oh, maybe that's it.
from a number I didn't recognize. So maybe that's why it was a little bit glitchy there.
Hmm. You're still
But
glitchy.
oh well, hopefully it'll work itself out.
Well, if not, people can hear it in the tap room.
Yeah,
We're gonna submit this as a tap room. So,
for sure.
um,
But yeah, I definitely enjoyed that lecture too.
yeah.
So
And also, I did one on. It was a workshop, and a couple of friends of ours were in there about the five fundamentals of energy renewal,
mm,
and something that I'm struggling with right now, and just kind of putting the focus back on me and the focus on how I can be a better person and how I can achieve happiness.
yeah,
Not to be
yeah,
so wishy-washy and hippy-dippy, but just trying to get back to the center and trying to figure out what's going to make me happy and how am I going to achieve that. And just getting through some of those things. It was a really interesting workshop, really interesting exercise that kind of, like, the first things you asked us is, what is your favorite day and why is it your favorite day? And all the things that people said were all not work related. Like they were all like being with friends, being outdoors,
Sure.
exercising, doing all these things, and realizing that, yeah, I'm missing out on a lot of that stuff. And,
Yeah.
we're doing the run for Not One More Vet. And, the first week I got a lot of miles in. And since then I've kind of
Yeah.
fell down a little bit. I'm still on pace. Don't worry, guys. I'm still going to get to 125, but I kind of took a step back from it and realizing that that's something I need to focus more on.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I took away from that is that she said something to the effect of, everyone probably always makes those to-do lists,
Mhm.
right? And I do that every single day. I make a to-do list. And once I get to the end of my to-do lists, then I say, oh, I should probably run today. And I need to put myself at the top of that list.
Yeah.
And say, these are the things that I need to do to take care of myself before I
Yeah.
focus on taking care of my job.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, my job is important, but not as important as I am. So
Right.
I need to start taking more care of myself. So I actually started doing that this week. I put run X number of miles at the top of my list, and everything else after that is gravy.
Nice. Nice.
So that's kind of something that I took a big piece of that away from me.
Yeah, I remember Molly saying, speaking of to-do lists, one time that one of the things that she read or watched was that sometimes when you make to-do lists, seeing everything that you have to do is almost defeating sometimes, and can actually cause stress and anxiety just having that list. And their point was, make a list of one thing and do that one thing, and then put something else on the list, and like, don't bog yourself down with
Yeah.
tons of things to do on your one day off, because if you don't get that whole list completed, how do you feel? Like, do you
You
feel
feel
like that
terrible. Yeah.
day was a failure or whatever else? So totally off on a tangent there, but it's very true.
Yeah.
It really is. So
It's where I'm getting better. I'm getting
yeah,
better about it.
yeah, for sure.
What did you learn?
I really enjoyed, Megan Brashear did the advanced blood gas interpretation, which is always awesome. Always a really good refresher. I mean,
Yeah.
you run blood gases all the time, and, I scan the basics, but it's nice to hear some of the in-depth stuff. The APRV ventilation that Noah did was always is interesting. I could hear him talk about ventilation till the sun goes down. And then I also thought I really enjoyed April's talk, the caregiver burden.
Yeah, that was really good.
If you register for IVEX and you didn't see it and you hear this, I highly recommend that lecture. And all of hers were really good, but that one for sure stood out to me. So
Yeah.
So
I liked how she did that because, if you look at the title of it, I forget what the title was. It was pain, and talking about caregiver burden.
yeah,
But when I saw that, I said, oh, this is going to be a pain lecture. This should be good. And, the first couple slides, she talked about pain and what we deal with for our patients. And then she flipped it around and put the whole focus back on us, on what are we dealing with and how are we dealing with that? And how does that make us feel? So that was a huge surprise. And I felt like that was a really impactful thing. I think probably people watched that and said, oh, this is going to be a pain lecture, and then realized that you're going to learn something about yourself.
Yeah,
instead.
for sure.
Nice
So,
job, April. I know
yeah,
you're not
absolutely,
here, but excellent job. Fantastic.
So yeah, again, all around, I thought, it was the same fantastic CE that it always is.
Yep.
Obviously less of it available this year, which is completely understandable. But I thought it was fantastic, and it was great to see everybody. They still did the welcome reception virtually. They did the pinning ceremony virtually. They still tried to give it the same feel. So I thought all in all, they did pretty good with it.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and then we had our Zoom chat.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. We did the Vet Tech Cafe Zoom chat, which we had, probably about a dozen or so people.
Yeah.
Come by, some past
in and
guests,
out.
and kind of in and out, and just really, we didn't even talk about anything. We just kind of hung out and all had a beer or a beverage, and
it was a good time.
Basically just did what we would do at IVEX and sit around and chat and, catch up and what's everybody doing. And, had a couple of fun would you rathers, and just hung out and had
would
a
you
good time.
rathers that we don't put on the podcast.
That we couldn't put on air.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm really glad we did that. So we've got another episode coming out this Sunday night.
Yeah, we do. This is a heavy one, guys. This is the big one.
Yeah. but we're really excited to bring out and talk about. And as we've said, two missions that Vet Tech Cafe has. Number one is, and not that one is any different than the other or carries any more weight, but highlight what veterinary technicians are doing in their careers, and then also talking about issues that veterinary technicians face. And this is an issue that a segment of veterinary technicians face, racism, and we're going to start a dialogue about it.
Well, and it's not just a segment. It's all of us. We're
Right.
all affected by this, I
Yes,
think,
absolutely.
on all sides of this. So it's really important to, I think, have this conversation.
Yeah, for sure. And, I know for me personally, it was absolutely an awkward and uncomfortable
Oh,
conversation to have.
it was.
But
I'm so
isn't
glad we did it.
yeah, absolutely. Isn't that, kind of where you grow as a human being? So, yeah, it was very eye opening. And I think it was a good start for sure.
Yeah.
Teresa was just amazing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that will be something that we'll come back to several times throughout the life of our podcast. But it was great to get the conversation started.
Yeah.
I know that we've had a couple questions about, we kind of put it out there previously that we wanted to talk about it, and we're just kind of getting to it now. So a couple reasons we decided to wait. First off, I think, is
Well, we
how
had to
was
find a
it?
guest.
Yeah, we had to find a guest that wanted to talk specifically about that. And thank you to Steven Satal for putting us in contact with Teresa. We didn't want it to be disingenuous. We didn't want it to be like, oh, here's another podcast, another veterinary podcast talking about racism post George Floyd, and like checking a box or anything like that.
We didn't
Like,
want to be what's the term? Reflective?
yeah,
Or reflexive?
reflexive. Yeah.
Yeah. Or reactionary. We didn't want to
Yeah.
just say, oh, this is a topic, we should talk about it.
It's a hot topic, we should talk about it. We wanted to do it the right way, and we had some learning to do ourselves.
Oh yeah, we did.
We had some, and not to say that education is complete by any means, but
no, not at all.
But we had to learn a little bit about ourselves and learn a little bit more about the issues, so that we could ask intelligent conversational questions, and kind of get to the point where we were, frankly, more ready to have that conversation. And so, the timing was just a little bit more right now. But then also
some of that stuff was really hard to hear. And
yeah.
And she kind of mentioned a lot about, and we talked about, making people that are people of color that have been through that to relive their histories and rehash all that stuff and relive it. And, she was very, very open to relive that for us, which can't thank her enough for that. I mean, that has to be hard. And some of the stories she told us was just, it's just baffling that kind of stuff is still happening.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just hard to hear.
It really is. It really is. And the last thing too is how was this going to be received? Two middle-aged white guys talking about racism, but I think now here we are a year in, we've pretty well established what our podcast is, who we are, what we are aiming to do. And so I think, just a little bit more time helped that as well. So, again, it's a difficult episode. It's a difficult conversation, but it's one that needs to be had. And we want to just do our little part with our small microphone, to help.
Well, and like you said, I imagine this is going to be the first of many conversations we're going to have. Like
I certainly hope so. I hope so. Because they need to be had, and the more we can talk about it, the better we'll all be for it. So I'm really excited about this episode. It's going to be a difficult one to listen to for sure, but please listen to it. And, if you think it's not you, if you think it doesn't apply to you, I can almost guarantee it does apply to somebody you know.
Yeah.
So definitely check it out this Sunday night.
Somebody in your circle is going to be dealing with this in one way or the other.
Yeah. So we have a couple of exciting things to bring to our caffeinators. We're trying this out. We've been trying to come up with something to call our friends and followers and listeners. instead of just friends and followers and listeners. So we're trying out
Yeah.
caffeinators. So we are now calling you the Vet Tech Caffeinators. We hope that's okay.
If you don't like it, tell us.
Yeah,
We'll come up with
please,
something
please
better.
give us some feedback. We'll put
Yeah.
something on social media about it, and please, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Or if you have a catchier name,
Yeah.
please suggest it.
If there's something you'd rather be called, let us
Yeah,
know.
yeah. We had reached out to AHA um, about the episode that we are releasing this weekend, and they
Yep.
got back to us with a really cool opportunity. So AHA is putting on a conference. There's live sessions, but it's all on demand as well.
Yeah.
And the live sessions are September 30th through October 3rd, and it's called Connexity. If you go
We'll put a
to,
link.
yeah, we'll put the
for
link
it.
on, but it's aha.org/Connexity, CONNEXITY. But the reason this is cool is they have a half-day track from 8 to noon on Saturday, September 30th, that is called Diversity in Veterinary Medicine, Mentoring and Recruiting for Lasting Change. But they also have up to 100 hours of CE that technicians can get. And if you register and use the discount code CAFE at checkout, CAFE, you get $25 off registration.
That's awesome.
That was really nice of them to do
Yeah.
that for us and for you guys.
For our caffeinators.
For our caffeinators out there. And some really great CE. And so we'll put that up on social media as well. Again, it's September 30th through October 3rd, but it's all on demand for up to a year. So if you
That's great.
register, you
Yeah.
can get up to 100 hours of CE over the course of the next year for that conference. And again, use the
You'd be
discount code
set for your
CAFE.
CE for the year.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll put a link up about that. And then we also just had a chat with Vetfolio.
Yep.
We're going to do some really exciting things there. Another discount code coming there on their CE,
Yep.
which we're really excited to offer. So, this podcast, we don't really offer CE. We're not clinically or medical based, but
No.
it's such an
And we
important
don't have time for
thing,
that.
right? It's such an important thing, though. We want to make sure that we can also offer to our to the caffeinators out there, ways to access CE at a little bit of a discount. So we're really excited to be able to bring
Yeah,
that
because
out.
I mean, I don't know when the next in-person conference is going to be even available. Like like maybe January.
That's a good
And
question.
at this point, we're getting up to the time where
Right.
people need to start submitting recertification.
Yeah. So, I mean, you think of it, October, they do Wild West, which is out in Reno, which I think is all virtual. And then January, they usually do VMX, and February is Western States. I'm actually not sure what either of those are doing or if it's been decided yet. I haven't even looked. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. I would imagine they're starting to put things into motion now because who knows?
Yeah.
Like with IVEX, they started putting things in motion back in June to say, what are we doing?
For sure. And, I don't honestly know if Orlando or Las Vegas is where thousands of people want to go for their first in-person excursion.
Probably a good,
so,
a good question to have. I don't think I would.
Yeah, right. So, the virtual format, we're proud to be able to bring or offer a little bit of a discount for a lot of really good quality online CE. So
and not to promote Vetfolio already, but I use Vetfolio for my students, and there's like thousands of CE tracks to take, and all of them are usually really good.
Cool.
Some of them are really in depth. Some of them are fairly basic and covering a wide range. Like I've shown my students during class, like a whole lecture on burnout and compassion fatigue. So they have a whole range of stuff, even some stuff on forensics, like we had with Lisa a couple weeks ago.
Cool.
So whole range of CE topics on Vetfolio.
Yeah, for sure. So before we wrap up, two big things that I want to quickly highlight. September is National Pet Pain Awareness Month. I want to give a shout out to our last guest, Tasha McNerney, because she came up
Thank
with
you, Tasha.
that. And so, check that out if you haven't already, but it's National Pet Pain Animal Pain Prevention Month or Awareness Month. But super cool that, that she kind of just had the idea and went with it and started it.
And now everyone does it.
And now everyone does it, just like Dental Month or what
Yeah.
have you. And then, of course, also September is National Suicide
Yeah. And we've
Prevention
had a few
Awareness
posts
Month.
about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And we will do another one tomorrow on
Yep.
Friday. And of course, we're both doing the Not One More Vet ride, or I'm riding, you're running the race around the world. In my last live, I talked about, my best friend's niece down in Orlando. And I just got word, in a staff email about a week or so ago, one of our faculty members, his 16-year-old daughter, took her life.
Mm.
And so, I mean, we're talking two teenage girls here, young women, and it's, again, it's whether you think it might be somebody in your hospital, somebody like all that to say, like my whole point is that it's probably closer than you think.
Oh,
It's
easily. Yeah.
it's happening, and we're going to post some more resources. Of course, we have the relationship with BetterHelp.
Yep.
If you know anybody that's affected, but I think mostly more than anything, I just want to implore people to be kind and, show a little bit of grace and not jump down people's throats or, be judgmental or what have you. Everybody's kind of struggling right now.
Yeah.
And, like I said, now here we are in this month, we're doing this thing. And then since we started that,
We've lost two
two
people. Yeah.
people that I know, it's yeah,
It's terrible.
it's
It's
real.
just, it's real. It's terrible. It's something that needs to be.
Yeah.
And how do we fix it?
Right. Right.
It's hard to deal with, and it's hard to kind of wrap your head around some of those things.
Right. Right. So anyhow, we'll post a bunch of stuff, a bunch of links and resources, and if you're not okay, it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
Just
Talk to somebody, get some help.
take that first step and reach
Yeah.
out for a little bit of help.
And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be professional. Talk to somebody, talk to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make yourself vulnerable and, put
Yeah.
yourself out there so that people can help you.
Yeah, for sure. So before we wrap up, with our tap room, we always do one positive thing. We didn't really talk about this beforehand, but what's something good, or something you're excited about, or what have you?
Something good. Something good veterinary related.
Yeah, ideally, if not.
I'm working on some more stuff to build some training models. So I'm really encouraged to start doing that. To do some more IV catheter training and do some more central line training. That I came up with a really unique idea. I think is going to be good. So I'm hoping to kind of put that into practice and get some more training done on my end, and not so much teaching, but to work more on training stuff. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Nice.
What about you?
Nice. Well, Molly and I are headed to California tomorrow for interviews and stuff. So I'm gradually closing the Tufts chapter on my career, and we're looking at moving back to California. So I'm both excited and terrified about new opportunities and what it's going to look like when I get back to California. Of course, moving across country and finding a job in the time of COVID is its own animal. But whether I fill my time in the classroom or in the clinic or some combination of both, I'm just excited about what's next, even though I don't know what it is. And I'm excited to see, kind of where it goes. So,
well, you're famous now. So anywhere you go, they're going to want to have
you. Yeah. Or they're going to be like, we don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
don't come in here. Yeah. So anyway,
right,
everybody, thank you. I see a few of you logged on. Thank you for stopping by. And definitely let us know whether or not you like the term vet tech caffeinators for yourselves.
Yeah.
If not, come up with something else. Please message us. We'd love to hear it.
Maybe we'll make a poll at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Keep an eye out for good CE discount codes that should be coming.
As soon as we have those, we're going to post them.
Yeah, for sure. And just hope everybody's doing well and all the best. And we'll
Stay
talk to you
safe,
guys soon.
everybody.
Yeah. Have a good one.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So